Hey, Brent from Additive America, and I just can't wait to go over this article with you. It got a ton of engagement on LinkedIn, so let's go ahead and hop in. There we go. So here we go. We're on the O&P Edge, and the title of this is 3D Printing a New Toy or a New Tool in Pediatric O&P. A great title to get clicks, because in a picture like this, you're going to get a lot of clicks, and that's what it's all about, is getting the clicks. So let's dive in. I love this first paragraph. 3D printing, an idea whose evolution has come a long way in a short while, is still regarded with ambivalence by some O&P clinicians. 100% agree. Can't agree more. And I love the fact that word really explains a whole lot. You know, I think some of the field really got burned in the early 2000s, 13, 14, 15 by some of the FDM style products. And now that we're moving more towards powder-based fusion with our definitive sockets, a lot of people have a lot of misplaced trust, and rightly so. So, and then the next sentence I love as well. Serving pediatric O&P patients is becoming evident in cases where practitioner input is key and early element in the creative process. Having the patient and the practitioner work together, super important, and obviously the vendor itself. So Samantha Payne co-founded Open Bionics 2013-2014, and I love some of this stuff. I mean, she talks a little bit about the community that makes FDM style sockets and hands, and it says the first myth is that really good long-term clinical outcomes and good adoption rates can come from a person at home with a fused deposition modeling or off-the-shelf family printer with no clinical information or clinical experience. 100% agree. In fact, when I go look at other companies that say they create anything in the orthotic and prosthetic space, if they do not have a clinician on staff, I know that it is not about serving patients. It's about making money. This other next sentence is also very true. Also, a lot of people associate 3D printing with lack of standards, regulations, or testing, but the truth is that although it is created using similar additive manufacturing methodology, a myoelectric prosthesis like the Hero Arm with its multi-grip functionality must meet international standards and undergo rigorous testing by independent agencies. Absolutely, and I would say in the UK they're even more strict. So kudos to you guys for doing that. So what is interesting though about all this is there's three groups. So you've got Open Bionics and Hanger, and then we're going to get Ability Prosthetics and Orthotics in this. So we had a few comments about that this was really just an advertisement for the Hero Arm, and I can't disagree with that, and I don't have a problem with that either. I think the more awareness that we get around 3D printing, I think the better off things are. I think the biggest thing that I have trouble with, and it's nothing that Samantha said, it actually is further down, is some of the hype that goes into this, which creates some misinformation. I also like what Eric says from Ability Prosthetics and Orthotics, the idea of prosthetists to design and create partial hands for the individuals, but he says the same thing. We're seeing a lot of these open source ideas that do not fit the patient, and they're not durable, and they break easily. 100% agree. He also says it's not a custom fit. Absolutely, it's some sort of parametric deal a lot of times. But one thing that is interesting that I think shows in this idea of open source is that people are looking for answers for some reason. And this is a big deal. So if you don't catch anything else that I'm saying in this breakdown of this article or what have you, is there's a reason why people are going outside of the orthotic and prosthetic field for their devices. And I think we have to look inside the field of why that is happening. And I think a lot of it is because we don't listen. That's just the bottom line, is that we don't listen well. And I tell you, it's going to come back and bite us big time. I know for me, on my journey, I thought 3D printing was the most ridiculous thing ever. And I'm no longer in that camp. And in fact, I've kind of gone probably more so to the other side and probably try to 3D print more than what I should. But that's how much I believe in the technology. So anyway, we've got to listen, and we've got to make there be a reason for people to look to get something that fits. You know, I see a lot of things that talks about funding and lack of funding. Man, I have just never seen the lack of funding for kids. We're always going to be able to figure out a way to get a prosthesis for a kid if they need it. So this idea of lack of funding, especially in these college groups and high school groups and that sort of thing, and because it's just so expensive and they're not going to pay and that sort of thing, completely not true. But the reason why parents are looking for better options for their kids is because we, as prosthetists and orthotists, are not providing those better options, and we're not looking outside of our box. So that's why, and you'll see a little bit later on, that's why Samantha and her co-founder created Open Bionics, is because people were looking for more. And kudos to them for doing that. So, boy, that was a soapbox, I guess. So this is very interesting. We got a little girl, a hot pink hand. She loves it in her confidence. She was proud of it. She was showing it to people. Did she use it functionally? Not really. However, we cannot discount this. If it made her feel good and pretty, changed her mental state, there is absolutely room for this style of prosthesis. We do not need to gloss over that fact. I love this, and I completely agree with Eric Shoemaker. Don't bypass the prosthetist. I have talked to so many people that they're like, hey, I've got this really great idea, but it doesn't include a prosthetist. I'm like, well, do you need patience? Oh, yeah, we need patience. Guess what? Many times prosthetists, the ones that will listen and collaborate with you. So if you are interested in creating a product, make sure that a prosthetist is involved with patient care. It's going to be the right thing for a good patient outcome. So don't bypass the prosthetist. So there's some, this is true. To really create something that is a quality product, you need an expensive printer. Powder-based fusion, SLS, multi-jet fusion, those are ones that are going to be definitely more expensive. And he says, instead of purchasing their own printer of that caliber, some facilities are looking for companies that already have them and some unused capacity. Great idea. Because everything is digital, they can email their design across the country to one of these printers and have a device printed for them, like central fabrication, but using printers. So this is kind of true. However, even though it may be the same model number printer, printers are going to print a little bit differently, and then when it comes to post-processing is a little different. So I can say, like with Additive America, I can print something and it works perfectly. But if I send that same file, and we have super tight tolerances as far as on some of our socket designs, to another company, it's not going to be the same. Post-processing different, the way that the orientation sometimes, however they put it in their build unit, is different. It's something that a lot of people don't understand when they're doing prostheses. So all that to say is you just can't email your file somewhere else and expect to get the consistent results that you have to have. You build a relationship with a company, and you go from there. And I always say, like a company like Additive America, we spend a lot of time doing testing and design, and I can, and that's a big deal. We do not, because some of these pieces and parts are so big, a lot of people will put them in the most cost-effective orientation so they can get other parts around. We do not do that. It's super important just to know that just because the number on the front of the machine is the same doesn't mean the same parts are going to come out. It's a big, big thing. So this, he's seeing some high quality devices. We're going to start seeing this across the orthotic realm. And guess what? It's already happening. You've got companies like Spenty's, Invent Medical, Crispin, Orthotics and Prosthetic, or Orthotics, doing amazing things where it's going to significantly compete with our traditionally manufactured solutions. So if you haven't checked out all those groups, Crispin, Invent specifically are doing some pretty neat things in that space. So again, 2013, these new devices like that. So true. Upper limb prostheses were abandoned because they're not useful, and made amputees, especially the young amputees, ashamed to wear them. It's part of their personality. It's an accessory, super important. So I 100% agree with that, and I love the direction of what the Hero Arm has done. So I love also that they got patient interviews. Innovation was needed. All that was great. And 2019, select O&P facilities, so hence ability and hanger. I don't think they quoted anybody from Shriners. So I love that. These swappable arm covers with the different designs, perfect. Love it. The idea of lower cost. I think I saw something online that the Hero Arm is somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000, which is significantly cheaper than most other myoelectric certified things, and you can get small with it. So I think that's fantastic. So true here. 3D industry manufacturers, technicians, and engineers are further ahead in terms of technology and adoption than clinicians. Many clinicians we train have never seen a 3D printer or used a 3D scanner before, and we're not trained on CAD. So they don't know how to manipulate a prosthesis in the digital workflow and aren't familiar with the materials that we are using. Big knowledge gap to take advantage of what's available. 100% agree, and I love a lot of the parametric design and even incorporating some of the AI into the design. It's coming, and I think it's fantastic, and I think they're doing a good job with that. So then we get into hanger. In Tempe, Arizona. So it says they've created a device with a tension thumb, which allows patients to grasp, pinch, and pick up objects as they become more accustomed to wearing a prosthetic device. Very cool, but if you take a look at this, mid-2020, Ben Ryan had been doing a lot of this, and so he actually shows up nowhere in this article. And his stuff looked a lot like this, and this is kind of glaze-esque looking as well. And so It's just kind of funny to me. The rest is fine. 3D printing affords the ability to precisely and efficiently print the majority of hardware and components, and do so in a way that are manufactured fully assembled. This allows us to produce a lighter weight device that can be quickly manufactured and digitally scaled to fit our patients. Fantastic, great. All right, so we keep on going. This is where things get a little bit interesting to me, and I understand the point of the article, but these kind of vague terms are interesting to me. Additionally, we prioritize safety. Who doesn't? Which requires testing and engineering reviews to ensure that the device performs successfully and safely as expected. This means zero. So moving on. I mean, this is just so vague. We don't know what the testing is. And that's just a bummer of prosthetics and orthotics, right? The field of prosthetics and orthotics is, hey, let's throw something on a patient, and if it doesn't break, then we're doing good. And there's really no parameters that we have to follow other than the ones that we create for ourselves, which that's just the way it is. So I also find it funny, Hanger Clinic has fit a number of upper limb patients using this 3D printed technology. Anytime you see fit a number, that means it's a very, very small number. These kind of things, it's nice to actually put the number in, but I digress. So lightweight, this idea of the paint, that was pretty cool. Doing the 1/2" 20 threaded terminal device, I love that. I love getting the patients in early as well. This is one of the funny things to me. So at Hanger Clinic, we can make changes to the upper extremity socket fit, device length, hand size, and or other characteristics on a laptop or iPad screen with patient and the family present. Then we can send the adjustments to our Hanger Fabrication network team, who will use the HP Multijet Fusion printing technology to print the modified device and have it ready the next day. This timeline is difficult with traditionally fabricated device. So, you know, earlier in the, was it earlier or later? It's earlier in the article, they talk that Hanger has HP 4200 series printer, which is the exact same printer that we have. We just have the increased materials because we use ours prints 24/7, and so it gets us a discount on materials. But so this is where the embellishment starts. This idea of print the modified device and have it ready the next day, it just doesn't happen that way. You know, we have a 4200, 4210 in our facility, and it's 18 hours to print, at least 18 hours to cool, and then you also have post-processing there. So you're looking at probably a minimum of 48 hours before you're touching your device. So the reality is, traditionally fabricated devices are much quicker than 3D printing. You can do multiple traditionally fabricated devices, and that's why a lot of people stick with traditional fabrication. Traditional fabrication is because it can be done quicker. Not necessarily better, but quicker. And so a little bit of hype here. I'm sure that they have some sort of neat little iPad, you know, splash type stuff. I'm not debating that, but I know for sure that that is not full on true. So I think that is, Payne and Shoemaker said much of the success is due to the collaboration between the patient, their clinician, and the team. 100% agree. Oh, here it is. Hanger has invested in, oh, this is another funny one. So Hanger has invested in HP Jet Fusion, Multijet Fusion 4200 printer, which has the ability to print nylon 11 and 12. True statement, but it's not like you can switch nylon 11 and just like, oh, I want to print nylon 12. That is a massive undertaking. So you have to have 2 printers if you want to print nylon 11 and 12. 2 printers and processing stations. So you've got to have one that does the nylon and one that does the nylon 12, and then you go from there. Actually, you just need another, I take that back. You only need to have an extra processing station, and then you can print nylon 11 or 12. So you don't have to have a separate printer. But boy, oh boy, cross-contamination of these devices, the materials would not be a good thing. So most people will run 2 different machines. Again, very vague. Devices and their components printed with the HP multi-bit diffusion technology have been strength tested and verified to withstand functional needs of both pediatric and adult upper extremity patients. What does that even mean? Who knows? But it sounds awesome. Kids break everything. You can't be any more, speak any more truth than that. Very true. But overall, it took me a couple of times to get it, but I love the spirit of this article as far as it is absolutely necessary to start getting awareness around 3D printing and what it can do for pediatrics and for other people. And what better way than to get this kind of, really neat picture going, attractive picture going. So, just it's we've got to be real though, and I think that is, and it's nothing against what the author has said or got the information. That was what they were supposed to do, is get the information, but is the embellishment on some of the realities of 3D printing. And it's just not there. So the bottom line is 3D printing is changing the way we do things in the orthotic and prosthetic field, and it is the way that we're going. I see lives changed immensely through what we do with 3D printing, and I'm so excited to be along for the ride. So anyway, I hope you enjoy that. If you want to leave any comments below, that'd be fantastic. We'll catch you on another one. I actually have another white paper, that talks about upper extremity prostheses and some of the issues of prosthetic input, or prosthetist input. So anyway, that's a little teaser. We'll see you very soon. So thanks so much for hanging in there with me, and we'll catch you later. Thanks.